Hi, this is Dreama, and today we are doing a client reading. And this is a different type of reading. It's not your average past, present, future type of reading. We're going to be using the Gilded deck, and this is one of my favorite decks, and I do connect with this rather well. I feel very connected to this deck. I've shuffled them ahead of time, just save time on this video. But this question is a little different than most questions. Like I said, it's not past, present, or future. Most readers would tell you that it's not possible to locate a lost item through tarot. And generally speaking, I would say that that probably is true. You can't actually pinpoint a place, but I believe what it can tell us, it can give us hints as to where the item may be. I'll explain the situation. The client question was to locate a lost item, but they had been told by someone that the item was lost. The client was a little suspicious of that. So what I thought is that we would start out by looking at that aspect of it and then move on to what I call some advice cards, which would tell us actually where we could look for the item, what advice would we have. But we're going to start out with, is this person telling the client the truth? And as always, I know the client's name and they know their name, but I won't be mentioning their name. So we're going to start out with the spread that I designed. We're going to use 3 cards to tell us if this person that told the client this item is lost is being truthful. Okay, and I'm going to turn it over 3 cards, like so. Okay, now I'm going to start with the bottom card. And what we have here is the Ace of Wands. Now, this card is rather interesting because as you can see, it's hands coming up, and this is a fire card. There's a lot of fire and some smoke. Now, in relationship to the question, that's how we're going to have to interpret this spread. What I'm getting from this card is smoke, okay? Whatever the person told the client, they are attempting to hide something in this smoke, because that's what the smoke does. That's the purpose of the smoke, is to hide something. It is a smoke screen, okay? Now I'm going to move on to the next card. Okay, we have the Ten of Wands. Now, this is an interesting card in respect to the question, is this person being truthful? As you can see, there's a man, and he's got 10 wands on his back. It's a heavy burden. He's bent over. And he's kind of trying to sneak away. And in the sky, we have darkness and a moon. So what I'm getting is that whatever this person is hiding, it is something. It's a heavy burden to them, okay? And they are trying to sneak away under the cover of the darkness. So when you put these two together, what you have is a smoke screen of trying to hide something, and then whatever it is they're hiding is a heavy burden, and they're trying to sneak away under the cover of darkness, so they don't want to be discovered, okay? Now, the third card, this is an interesting card. This is the High Priestess. To me, this card has always represented power of some sort. It's just a powerful card. But if you'll notice, too, she's coming up out of the water and up under the stars. And this card, to me, is just speaking about knowledge, and as if the knowledge is coming up from the water. So I really believe that this person does have a knowledge of where the item is, and what they're doing is trying to hide it through a smoke screen under the cover of darkness, but it is a heavy burden, okay? Now we're going to move actually over to the more difficult part of the reading, and that is, where is this object? And like I said before, it's not going to give us, the exact location of the item, but what it will do is give us some sort of insight into where we could look, okay? And again, I'm going to lay over 3 cards. Okay, and I'm going to start with the bottom card. And what we have is the Sun. Now, I am sure that the client will see the significance of this card. What you have is rings, lots of rings. And then at the top is a very bright sun. What this card is saying to me is that wherever this object is, it's in a bright place. Someplace that's brightly lit, okay? It's not in a dark closet. It's in somewhere that is brightly lit. Then we have the Eight of Swords. Now, swords are interesting because, as you can see, the lady is surrounded by them, and she was wearing a blindfold, and she's kind of tied to one of the swords. In relation to where an object would be, what this card says to me is that the object is hidden in plain sight, okay? It's surrounded by other items that look like it, but you can't see it because there's so many of the other items, and they all look the same, if that makes sense. It's hidden in plain sight, in a bright place. Then lastly, we have the Seven of Cups. Now, this card really reinforces the swords. And the reason I say that is because, as you can see, there are a lot of cups, and they pretty much all look the same. Some are a little smaller, some are a little bigger, and some have fire and some greenery. But basically, the Seven of Cups, they're all the same cups, okay? So what I'm getting from where is the item, it's in a bright place, it's surrounded by other items that are like it, it's hidden in plain sight. What I'm getting from this intuitively is telling me that this item is in a brightly lit case with other items that are similar to it, okay? A brightly lit case, possibly even a glass case. And the reason I say that is because it's hidden in plain sight. That's what I'm just getting, a glass case with lights, with other items that are the same. Like I said, this has been a completely different type of reading. I understand that. But I do hope that it has helped the client understand that the person that's telling them what they're telling them are just not being truthful. They're being dishonest about it, and they do have the knowledge of where this item is. And in order to find the item, they need to look somewhere that is brightly lit and that is surrounded by things like it, and it's in plain sight. And for some reason, I'm just getting this mental picture of a glass case. Okay, that does conclude our reading for today. And I would like to thank everyone for joining us, and I do hope to see you again. Thanks.